Yeah, hi. So in this video, we'll see all the subjects that I have for my master's in AI engineering in autonomous system. So in this particular video, we'll just quickly go through like what all subjects we have and what we study in that and why do we need to study that. Okay, so a brief overview. Then in upcoming videos, we'll focus on each subjects, okay, and how we are going to approach which one will be the first one that we'll get to know in this particular video. Okay, so the presently, I hope my screen is visible for you guys. And presently, you can see the 6 subjects that are being displayed here. From these 6 subjects, I would like to first cancel out this as I won't be covering German A1 because I have zero knowledge about that. I have to still practice, and this is something to be done on ourselves. Similarly, ethical consideration. It's again a lot of theoretical and lot of psychological things. Like you do need like okay, let's keep that aside. Then apart from that, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 are the major subjects, or I can say the technical subjects that we require. Okay. Uh, Among these 5 also, like the 3 are mandatory. For example, this is mandatory, this is mandatory, and this is mandatory. Mandatory in sense, these are the common subjects that we need to clear. And apart from that, we have scientific electives. So I have selected 2 scientific elective. One is artificial intelligence and automotive system. And the second one is the optimization methods for machine learning. Clear? So once we are clear with our subjects, uh, let's briefly try to understand what is happening in each subject. Let's try to connect it, like how these subjects are interlinked with each other. Then at last we can rank which one is the most difficult and which one is the least, and how we'll be proceeding with this course, or not particularly course, or how we'll be proceeding with our videos. Okay, so first I would like to concentrate about the common one, that is principle of autonomy and decision making. Okay, so in this particular course, it's again all about artificial intelligence, but whenever a problem is given, there is a lot of uncertainty present. um, there are a lot of complex decisions that needs to be taken, right? So what this course helps us is to take the decision in such a way that it gets efficient. Now, how is it possible? So there is something called as MTP. There are again various versions of it. The least version is I'm saying is the MTP. So what is MTP now? In general terms, it helps you to decide which action to be taken right now, so that the action taken now is affecting your future. Okay, so whatever you are taking the action right now, it will affect your future. So what are the systematic actions that you need to take right now? That will be focused on principle of autonomy and decision making. So again, this application, like let's say autonomous driving, we have to let's say take a right turn or left turn, keep on uh, going on the same track, or let's say our speed adjustment and all this stuff. So these are the decision to be taken, and this is related to course. But when I was reading some examples and all, so I also went through let's say stock market. It's as I'm a fan of like stock market, so if you guys are also interested, like there is something called as hedge funds people, like mutual fund, hedge fund. So they somewhat do like this HTI, like high trading frequency, or automatic trading, you can say. So this is mostly like used there, and not mainly because like it's used with other mathematical models also. So to take the predictive, like even if you see the stock market is unpredictable, there is uncertainty, anything can happen. So this MDP is also used there. So I was very much fascinated when I came to know that okay, this is something is being utilized there. So this is one of the core thing about this MTV. And after that, what else you learn in this various algorithms, I guess, like one of them is quick learning. Again, this all are interlinked with the MDP, because I guess MDP can be standard as the center, and related to these we are revolving. Okay, like the main gist of this course is to take decision in such a way that it has a good reward. Okay, so basically we are also doing an assignment right now, like assignment one. I will discuss that in future. But even in that, like no matter if you are getting initial negative rewards right now, your model will choose those things because at last it can get a positive like reward, like it can get a huge reward. So it can a few times, even if it can get a little small rewards, it is going to ignore that and directly go somewhere where it's going to get the major reward. So this is like you are taking the decision based on future outcomes. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you guys, but this is something interesting. Okay, about this subject. So this was about principle of autonomy and decision making. The whole gist of this course is that you will be having a lot of uncertainty about your life. So with the help of neural networks, artificial intelligence, you are like you are going to take a decision uh, which will help you to make a good educated decision, right? So that's about this code. Then, if you try to practically apply it in real life, for example, let's again speak about the assignment one of principle of autonomy and decision making. So in that, I had created an environment where I have a spaceship. I have various enemy spaceship. I have few astronauts that can be treated as hell state. Now, what is hell state? We'll all discuss that later. But we have something like that. Now, this is all in software, but if you try to physically make it, if you try to have a spaceship right here, like a small game, like a toy game, and let's say you have placed enemy spaceship and all. So the knowledge that you require here, the sensor, the let's say to analyze the what it is called? Yeah, scene reconstruction. Okay, so those all things come under this second subject named as machine perception and cognition. Okay, most of the people are not able to connect between these two subjects, but if you focus a little bit, if you try to see the aim objectives, whatever you do in this, okay, if you try to apply it in real life version, then this is being used here. For example, the main first topic or the content that we learn here is scene reconstruction. It is called something as scene reconstruction. So here we try to create, let's say, a 3D model, not just a like not a physical 3D model, but we try to get some data. And how do we try to get it? Like you will be having a bunch of images or videos, or with the help of sensors like lidar, radar. Okay, so I guess in one of the PPT, when I was attending the lecture, we had something like what is color, what is image. The question that time seemed like foolish what we are learning, but when we learn about scene reconstruction, like how we are going to reconstruct this 3D model with the help of those images, with the help of those the arrays that are present inside these images, the pixels and all, that time you can like connect the dots. So why we are learning what is image, how it's classified, how it's divided, and all those things. So one of the main objective of this subject is like scene reconstruction. Okay, now if you see our example, so spaceship is here, we have to reconstruct those models so that like our enemies this, so sensors will be there, it will try to focus on enemy this, and enemy spaceship, it will try to sense the data and move here and there. So this was the first thing. Then we something have as SLAM, SLAM. This is again a second major content of what it is, machine perception and cognition. And as in the name itself, you can see SLAM stands for selective localization and mapping. Okay, so what is going to happen here? So you are going to, so you will be having an unknown environment. Okay, you'll be having an unknown environment, and your agent will try to localize all that environment. Like it will try to go through all that environment, like move here and there, and then it will try to map so that it comes to know what environment he's dealing with. And if you try to connect with principle of autonomy, and that's what we are doing here, there, right? We are doing it with the help of software, right? But when you come to this side, you will having all these sensors, and you will what I can say, practically like able to do it. No, not you are not creating any 3D model, but yeah, you can connect those things. Okay, this was the second main content. Then we have something called as visual audiometry, and this is again similar to when my spaceship moves here in in principle of autonomy, we had something called as pygame or TK enter. So that library itself will tell us that your spaceship has been moved. But in real life, we don't have any pygame or a TK enter library. So whenever it moves here and there, we have to detect, right, how it has moved, what are the coordinates and all. So we have something called as visual odometry and all those stuff. So in general, so machine perception is nothing but whatever you have learned in principle of autonomy and decision making. The same thing if you are trying to physically make it, you need all these sensors to move, to detect, to predict and all those stuff. And in cognition, its machine cognition is nothing but related to, again, neural networks. Okay, so here you are going to, let me quickly see what all we have in this. Okay, again, in this, there is a reinforcement learning. So even in principle of autonomy, we are going to study about reinforcement learning, and that same topic, maybe in depth, can be studied in principle machine cognition. Okay, so if you see the like it's almost connected, the subjects are almost connected, and that's it in cognition. We have neural networks, we have perceptron, we have let's say um, reinforcement learning and deep reinforcement learning. So all these are the topics, and they are pretty much interlinked. Clear? So these are the interlinked, and I will always recommend, like, first to go with this, and second with machine perception and cognition. Okay, so to have a better understanding. So once that is done, the second, like the third subject that we have and we focus is about computing and connectivity technologies. And for me, this is my one of the favorite subject, I can say, because here you have to be just curious, then you will get to know like what is happening in this subject. Like this is the subject where you will try to understand how 5G works, how 4G works, or let's say if there is a browser, you have a website. So how is the website being loaded from the server? Like what types of server we have, what types of protocol, like let's say UCP, TPC, TCP, TCP protocols, UDP, UDP and TCP we have. Okay, now what are this? Just to give a small idea, like let's say in TCP, we have three-way connection. So whenever you are accessing any data from your server, okay, you always tell it, hey, hi, this is Sri, give me the data. It will respond back. Okay, is it you? Then you are going to have three-way connection. Okay, but in UDP, it's not three-way. You are only going to connect once. You are going to tell the server, hey, I am Sri, please give me data. And once it's said, it keeps on giving you the data. Now, when is UDP useful? For example, let's say you are live streaming your cricket. Okay, you are watching your cricket IPL matches. Now there is no sense to take TCP in that. Why? Because in TCP, what will happen? Every time you have to make that request, three-way connection has to be happen. But in UDP, once you make a request, there is always the data is going to be sent. For let's say for some time the connection lost in between, like the 5 minutes goes off, then the UDP will not wait for like those 5 minutes and then give you. It will obviously, like whatever is the next data, it will keep on giving it. So whatever has been lost, it has lost, but it will keep on giving you the latest live recordings or live data. Okay, so these are the protocols like TCP, UDP. Then we have something called as WebSocket, WebRTC. Socket is for like creating live applications, like let's say WhatsApp and all this. WebRTC, where we can create live streaming applications like let's say Zoom or Google, like what is this, Google Meeting, something like that. In case it's not that in depth, but once like I did a, what I can say, project where a replica of Zoom. I didn't complete it, but yeah, I did try to attempt it. Between half, I left in between. So there I learned something called as WebRTC, which below the scene carries out this UDP. Okay, so I'm able to connect the dots, like how UDP is important for let's say live streaming and all those stuff. So all about networks. Then I also have my, let's say, website. So now presently I'm in, let's say, Germany. So what I am doing, my actually the hosting server has been expired. Okay, so just on 4 days back, my hosting service has been expired. So now I'm like trying to host my website, with the help of Arduino. But the issue is that that website will be only available for the peoples near to my area, let's say in Ingolstadt or even in Germany, if there is not lot of pressure, like lot of what I can say, what do we say that not lot of people are not accessing it. Okay, but in case if I have multiple servers, if I take hostinger, then what will happen is that I have a server here. It's something called as I'm not able to recall the name. I guess it was also taught previously, but I'm not able to recall the name. Company will be having its server in multiple locations, and no matter if you just upload your website right here, even in India, you can access it. Okay, so that's the importance. So those like it will be very curious when you try to physically try to implement this knowledge. Okay, so for me at least that's the best what I can say subject and interesting subject, right? So this was about computing and connectivity technologies. So we are done with 3 mandatory subjects. Apart from this, the most difficult subject is this one, optimization methods for machine learning. Difficult subject because somewhere I feel I also miss a link of this, because whenever you try to learn any subjects, you need to know like what's happening, what's the main objective, how they are like what you are trying to achieve. Okay, in this subject obviously we are trying to optimize our machine learning. For example, again taking the principle of autonomy example itself, the assignment one we have, let's say your agent has a goal that has to be reached, and there are, let's say, 4 paths, and if there is no time bound or anything, it can choose anything, any path, right? But the issue is that which one is the optimized, which will use the least resource, that we'll learn in this, okay, in optimization methods for machine learning. So the under maths, the below maths, what is happening behind the scene. Presently what we are doing, we are simply doing a q learning algorithm we are implementing, and that's it. But inside that q learning, what is happening, so those type of data knowledge is present in this subject. And apart from that, even while recognizing the image identification, so there are few errors, like how to minimize those errors and all those stuff. So basically optimizing your algorithms and all can be learned here. Okay, so this was the objective. But why we are still why I am still facing, because in prerequisites, I guess a person should have a complete knowledge of machine learning, which I don't have. Like I somewhere like just in between I am. So I feel whenever let's say a professor take any algorithm's name and try to explain its in depth, I get lost. So that's why it's becoming a bit challenge for this subject. But yeah, so I'll be my most focus will be the optimization methods for machine learning, and in fact is also connected with the previous the starting 2 subjects that we discussed. Clear? Okay. And the next one is artificial intelligence and automotive system. Again, I feel, according to me, this can be treated as the core subject for our master's, the present master's program, that is my artificial intelligence of autonomous system. So what I can say, whatever the car we are developing or the autonomous vehicle that we are developing, so all the models and the live examples can be seen here. In fact, I have also enrolled for a group that is called as Shanzer. Okay, so this is a group in THI which builds an autonomous car. So I have been selected there. So even in there, they are like implementing all this artificial intelligence in this making a car. So we are lively like we are developing a car from end to end. All the we have various teams, like we have software developer team, we have low voltage team, high voltage team, we have designing team. Okay, so there are a lot of teams. So I'm in this, and in this we are trying to have a driverless car, and for obviously for that we need something like sensors and all the stuffs that we discussed so far. And after that, we have to have artificial intelligence to navigate from, let's say, from point A to point B. Okay, so again, in this we'll discuss once our class has started. Like once we enter into this subject, we can discuss in depth, because again, this is pretty interesting subject for me. Clear? So I hope we are done with almost like introducing all these subjects. So let me clear all the drawing. Now, based on ranking, I will rank like this as the most difficult one, because obviously there is some key concepts that I don't know, and there is a lot of maths involved here. Maths, in fact, is okay, because once you learn the logic, it's fine. So this is the one thing. And the second thing, most difficult would be, I don't consider difficult. I would think AIAS, because it requires it's combination of all neural networks, machine learning, everything is being included here. So I can say that. Then I can go with, let's say, not difficulty. Then the approach that we need to follow is we need to first study with, let's say, principle of autonomy, and then move to this one, machine perception and cognition. And this is an independent subject. Whenever you feel free, we can study this one. Okay, so it's more like a theory, like when you feel curious about how it works, you can simply move to that subject. Clear? So I hope we are done with the introduction of the subjects that we have. Okay, so in our next video, I most probably will start with this one, principle of autonomy and decision making. And I feel I will first try to show you my assignment 1, then assignment 2. And once I'm done with these things, then I can again start with the basic things, like what all we have covered so far. Okay, so that's the present idea, but let's see how the video goes on. So that's it. This is Shrikant signing off. Bye.